Hi, everybody. It's September 4th, 2025, and this is the weekly Backdrop Dev meeting. My name is Nate Lampton. I'm Quick Sketch on the internet. I'm core committer and technical lead for the Backdrop project. We get together every week to talk about technical tasks for the Backdrop project, primarily focused on core. So it's been an exciting week. Feature Freeze was this past Monday, and we've got the release of Backdrop 132 around the corner on September 15th. And we're going to run down the update of what got into 132, what didn't, and what things we can still do before the release. So before we get into that, we'll do some quick introductions from the other folks that are here in the meeting. We'll start with Tim, and then we'll go to Martin.
Hi, I'm Tim Erickson, St. Paul Tim on the internet. I'm in Deerwood, Minnesota. That's good about it.
Thanks, Tim. Martin, and then Izzy.
Hi, I'm Martin Price, Yorkshire Pudding around Backdrop, and I'm a Backdrop developer in Northeast England.
And Izzy.
Hi, I'm Izzy. I'm a developer and site builder in Vancouver, British Columbia, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Yay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate everybody joining. Let's see. We also like to do little contrib updates. There's been 3 new contrib projects released in the past week, which is great. There's the new contrib project 410 Gone or 404, which is the short version is just Gone 410. And it looks like it allows you to specify pages as 410 gone instead of 403 if a page has been deleted, like a node. That's a pretty cool little feature. And I wonder if this is ported or not. It might be a new module. It doesn't specifically say that it was ported, so it very well may be a new module just for Backdrop. So that's great. And we also have the PayPal and address modules, both of which are part of the Commerce module suite. I know that community members have been hard at work getting Commerce fully working on Backdrop. And so those two modules are part of that overall suite. So it's great to see those. I think address module can be used independent of Commerce, but it's part of the whole the package, I think.
Address module's been around for a while. Is that
Maybe I'm incorrect about that, but I'm pretty sure maybe it just got its
is it a
final.
commerce address or
No, it's just address.
Hmm.
But there's
Oh,
an
there's address
additional.
field. There's
Yeah, there's
address field.
yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. So address field and address are oddly, yeah, address is dependent on address field, which I'm not quite sure how that works, but
right. Okay.
yeah, so that's great. Thank you for getting those 3 projects ported out there. Appreciate it. Uh, let's see, other general discussion, some news in our uh, DevOps side of things. We've got our Fastly contract all set up that they are donating services to our community. We appreciate that. Fastly is a CDN and web application firewall provider. And we have Fastly set up on the main backdropcms.org site now. There's been a few hiccups like the demo sandboxes being inconsistent about getting created. We think we sorted that out this week. And we also expanded Fastly out to the docs site. Big thanks to Justin, who does our DevOps, expanding that usage out there. So we're likely to see Fastly extended to all of the other properties in the near future. And then once we get all of the small kinks worked out, then we'll turn on the web application firewall to kind of increase the robustness of our flagship site. So I'm really excited to see all of that coming together. Should also have the side effect of making backdropcms.org load faster for everybody, but also like on a global scale, thanks to the CDN. Very excited about that. All right. I think that's all that we've got for community updates. We'll dive right into the technical side of things. So, lots of things happened this week. We've got new releases of Backdrop. We've got the bug fix release that was just released yesterday, Backdrop 131.1. It's been almost the entire cycle from, since we released the minor version of Backdrop 131.0. But a good set of fixes here, some 20-some fixes of bugs and a couple of UX improvements here. But yeah, a nice big chunk of fixes here that came out in the Backdrop 131 release. We also have the preview release of the 132 version. So 132 is going to be coming out here in 2 weeks on September, well, a little less than that, on September 15th. And the preview release is intended to make a wider availability of the next version of Backdrop and have people start testing it on their sites before the final release comes out in a couple weeks. So we had a lot of good progress in the last week in the final sprint to get things completed before feature freeze. We wrapped up this more responsive grid format for views, adding the ability to append sorts to the table displays inside of views. And there was one other one that we got done in the last week. I wonder if it's not in here. Maybe those were the only two things that got wrapped up. Completed. Yeah, this one was already done. Updating the password reset form to use a single field. So yeah, I guess those two views things were the last things that got in kind of like under the wire. But there's a couple of things that didn't make it. This layout template type got bumped to the next minor version, Backdrop 133. Conceptually, this looked really good, but it didn't have any test coverage. And so that's where the hole was on this one. And the other one that didn't get in is improving the admin bar on mobile screens. But this one is a UX improvement. And so even though it got bumped back down to needs work, it's a really simple CSS change, just 3 lines. But the suggestion that I have that I'd like to see here is that it negatively affects the experience if you're on a desktop browser with a small window. Now, it's not a very likely scenario, but basically having a cursor with a hover effect conflicts with the collapsed admin menu that's intended only for mobile. And I think that there's ways that we can make it so that both things work at the same time. And there's ways to detect if you're on a touchscreen device or a desktop device, or just one that has a cursor. And I think the trick is that we need to just wrap this CSS, if possible. I don't actually know how this works, but I think that it's possible. This media query here, I think we can extend it to also say only apply to touch devices. And then that will make it so that this behavior, which doesn't work well on desktop or on non-touch devices, won't actually apply. It'll only apply on mobile and touch devices. So, or small screens and touch devices. So yeah, we can continue looking into that. And then hopefully we can get this sorted out before the 132 release. Sorry, I kind of jumped in forward there, but what it does is it stops this left-right display and collapses it and makes it so that menus expand vertically instead of going to the left and the right. But this causes all kinds of problems when you're hovering with a mouse cursor, because it's like stuff starts collapsing and expanding like as you try to move down the menu and it results in a really funny behavior on a device with a cursor. So let's see, the 132 milestone, there's nothing else in here. These are all the issues that got closed. There's one other thing that we need to check out as well, that CKEditor 5 came out with a new version day before yesterday. So we're on version 46.0.2, 46.0.3 came out a couple days ago. And so getting updated to that next bug fix release would be another nice to have before the release of 132. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, that kind of wraps it up. As far as like, we don't really have a whole lot of things that we need to do before the 15th when the next version comes out. But the best place to look for things that we can work on until then is probably the bug fix milestone. You can see that there's quite a few issues in here that all need review. And these are things that, I mean, they're not high priority because we can do them after the release as well, but they're like the best candidates for fixing additional things before the next minor version comes out. Yeah, Tim, I know sometimes you get excited about trying to get squeeze stuff into the next version. I'm not sure if you have any ideas about other areas in which we could focus our efforts.
I've been a bit out of the loop, so I don't actually. I was just looking through this list and looking for any other simple UX or bug fix stuff that we might add, but I think I'll try to focus on helping with these if I'm not making any promises right now, but
Yeah.
hopefully I'll find a little time in the next week.
Yeah, great. Let's see. I also wanted to say in the 132 milestone, this feature that I'm really excited about, the ability to turn on modules and themes via config sync. Let's just go ahead and make this clear that you can do modules and themes. It's not a question mark now, it's actually implemented. So you can now turn on modules and themes via config sync. And a follow-up for this is that we were discussing it before the recording, that this exists in core and it works in the user interface, but for B, for users that use our CLI tool, the B project incorporated a fix, but there isn't a release for it. Although Martin pointed out that 80% of people that use B just to use the latest Git checkout anyway. So it might not be a problem that affects a whole lot of people. But B should now be compatible with this new feature as well. Yeah, Martin, is there anything else you want to say about that?
No, tested it and it all seems to work. So tested a few different scenarios. So and it works exactly as you would expect it to work. So which is really good.
Yeah. In truth, it actually would work even without updating B. But the key thing is that because the only thing that's really special is that when the system extensions JSON file gets read, it really just needs to happen first in order for additional validation to happen. It actually would work fine even without any changes. It's just that not all validations would be run if the modules are turned on, because system.extensions is alphabetically kind of low in the list. it would sync all of the other files and then it would turn on the modules like at the end of it. So it depends on if you had other config that needed the modules to be turned on. It might not turn on the modules first before that set of changes. But anyway, it's probably a moot point because the fix is already in there. Probably nobody's going to encounter the problem anyway. And so yeah, we're pretty well set here on this being ready for the final release. Let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. It's really like it was a crazy week with Fastly getting rolled out, 2 releases. But now it's kind of the calm before the storm. We've got 11 days before the release of Backdrop 132. And the number of things that absolutely must happen before then is really quite small. So we do have the tasks that we always should be working on before a minor release that it would be great to get ahead of, like writing a blog post. I'm not even sure that we had a blog post for the last release. So especially some of this functionality, like this turning modules and themes on via config sync, don't make for great screenshots. It might take some additional effort to try to explain how this functionality works. And the best way to do that, I think, is with the blog post.
So that reminds me, someone pointed out that the Backdrop CMS.org demo, where you spin up a demo, is on an old version. I think it's on something like 1.30.
Yeah, with the release of Backdrop 131.1 just yesterday, that was I went ahead and refreshed that. So
Oh, cool.
Yep, so that should be fixed as of yesterday. Yeah, speaking of using Backdrop 131.1, like making a new release for the sandboxes, I can't remember which way we want to go with promoting a preview release. Like, should the sandboxes be using the preview release, or should the download button be showing the preview release? Without promoting the preview release in some other way, most people don't even know that it exists. But I don't know if we want to make the sandboxes use the preview or if we want the homepage to promote the preview. I kind of accidentally had the preview up on the sandbox or up on the homepage because our homepage now automatically detects new releases and seems to update itself now, which I forgot about. I went to update the homepage and I was like, oh, somebody got to it before me. But I think it was actually automated systems. So the 132 preview release was on the homepage for a day in between the release of the preview and the release of 131.1. But then 1.31.1 is now promoted on the homepage because it came out afterwards. Yeah,
So-
is any-
I don't know if we want to change it. In the future, I think we decided not to use it on the regular, but we do have this dev preview
that's right.
sandbox. So there is this that you can update that one and use the preview release there.
Yeah,
A little
I
bit,
think
that one seems to be just set to use the dev branch all the time. I thought it was specifically the preview. But it says try the dev preview, so the wording is a little.
Let me see what it is. So
It's
yeah,
on the
so
try backdrop page, and we listed it last because we didn't want to.
yeah, so if you click on in the header, other ways to try. So try Backdrop
Right.
CMS, other ways to try, and then scroll down to the bottom. Well,
Right.
sometimes the bottom. There's the dev preview. And that just runs the 1.x branch. Although it looks like it might not be working at the moment. Yeah. Okay, that's good enough for me. It's not really promoting the preview version. It's just running the latest 1.x all the time.
Just to clarify one other point here, what is the policy about which version should be running for the demo? Because I would like to see it move in sync with the latest version, not necessarily the preview, but certainly when the new version is released. It would be nice if that's the version people can try, especially if there's going to be blog posts or other things promoting some of these new features. The other argument has been to kind of wait and see if there are any bug releases, but the last release, we haven't seen another release till now.
Mhm.
So when should this be updated?
Yeah, the policy is that when we make a new bug fix release, the demos should get updated on like right away. It's a checklist item of like when a release comes out, update the demo sites. I think it just so happened that last time we overlooked that. The person that used to accept that assignment was Gregory, and although Gregory has still been intermittently available for project management committee tasks, he hasn't been around a lot in the issue queue, I think. And so, um, yeah, I think that we just assigned a task to somebody that wasn't available to do it, and that's why it didn't get updated until this latest release, which just happened yesterday. And then I was like, oh, Greg's not around, so I'll do that task, and that's why it only happened as of yesterday. Was just that like our process for updating it is it's a part of the checklist, and it took a whole another release before we realized that the checklist item needed to be addressed again.
Okay, but in 2 weeks' time, when the 132 release comes out, then hopefully the demo will be off the 132.0 or not.
Yes, it'll be on 132.0. Yep.
Great.
And ideally, basically within an hour of it coming out, the sandboxes will start using the demos.
Right. Now, the only other thing is that trying the preview at the very bottom of these other lists, would it be useful to bring that onto the same page that gives you the chance to do the demo, or is that too confusing for people?
Well, I'd be open to suggestions there, but I think that we don't want to we don't want to overwhelm people with like which one, like a decision at that point. Like they want to try backdrop, they don't know anything. There's one button and it makes a sandbox.
Okay.
Especially like a lot of times like for this particular window, right, where there's the um like I don't think we actually want people running the 1.x dev version on a regular basis. Um, but running the preview, we do kind of want them to run, but that's a really small window of 2 weeks in between when feature freeze occurs and when the final release
But
comes out.
I think also it's not necessarily we probably want people who are trying Backdrop for the first time to be trying a version that we expect to be very stable and not to have things. And while I think in general, we've not had many bugs recently in our preview release that we've had to urgently fix. It can happen, particularly when there's new features where we haven't necessarily thought of all the edge cases. So we do, for people who are just trying Backdrop, it's much better if we have a known stable release.
Yep. Yeah. And if people make a sandbox, and then later they go to download Backdrop or install it someplace else, like it should ideally be the same version regardless of where they get it from. Yeah, all right. I I don't have anything else to cover for today. It's really kind of like, hooray! Feature freeze is over. That was a stressful couple of weeks. We got in almost everything we were shooting for, which is great. And yeah, now we've just got this little window before the official release. So we've got to work on that admin menu issue to make it work on desktop and mobile a little bit better, and update CKEditor to the latest bug fix release. Those are the items that are specifically in the 132 milestone yet to be done. But other than that, it's just bug fixes as usual. And the best place to look for that is actually not in the 132 milestone, but the 131.2 milestone, just the bug fix release for the for the current minor version. There will be another release of Backtop 131 in a couple of weeks. I didn't strictly need to make the 131.1 release this week, but like as he said, it'd been almost the entire release cycle and we hadn't had a bug fix release, so I went ahead and cut that out. If by some odd chance we don't fix anything in the next 10 days, which seems unlikely, then there wouldn't even be a release of 131 on the minor release day, which would be really unusual, but it's possible. So I would still say, like, let's try to get as many bug fixes in as we can. It's always great to, when there's a reason for people to update, like there's new features, it's also a great time to get in bug fixes.
So I wonder if we might just look a little bit further into the future here, just so people know that we're constantly striving to improve things. But I wouldn't mind at least making others who look at this video aware of the issue 6957, which is a very current issue that we're working on of authenticated content after logout with proxy servers. So people who are using proxy servers might be interested in taking a look at this issue and maybe offering some thoughts as we're just in the process of trying to sort out how best to handle this.
Yeah, and this is the problem that you could face if you're using a CDN, Fastly, Cloudflare, Akamai, etc. But also proxy servers like Varnish, typically called reverse proxy, but it also can happen with Nginx too. That if you've got caching at those layers, the caches can get mixed up between a logged in user and a logged out user. And my comment here was that what I've always done for Drupal sites and Backdrop sites is identify, like, if a user is logged in, and then I exclude that from the cache entirely. But what I'm saying here is, like, every time I've set this up, it requires special configuration, but at the same time, like like, why does it require special configuration? Can't we just make it so that it just works, And I think that that's what everybody in this issue is talking about, is like, this should just work without special configuration to segment out authenticated traffic versus anonymous traffic. And so the kind of seemingly available solution is that in the cache control header, you can say that a cache is private, and that will automatically make it so that that cache doesn't get served to other users. I'm not totally. I think we still have some experimentation to do about, like, is this header alone going to be sufficient? And does that mean that this cache gets cached at the CDN level, but it's only for one individual user, or does it mean it doesn't get cached at all? Like, we don't quite know what the full effects of it are. We do know that Drupal 10 started using, or 1111 started using the private directive inside of the cache control header, but we don't actually know if it's going to solve our problem yet. So TBD, will this solve our problem or not? But in the meantime, there's also all of these other solutions for Cloudflare, for Fastly, for Nginx, for Varnish to make it so that your authenticated pages don't get mixed up with your anonymous ones. But we'd really like to make it so that no special configuration is necessary when using reverse proxy software.
Yeah, it sort of caught us by surprise when we were fooling around with a CDN like Cloudflare, and other people were also encountering it. So it is something to alert people to, and if people have some ideas, because it's not quite as straightforward with just substituting the private header. We're still trying to sort that one out, and it's open for other people to sort of pitch in if they've got some thoughts on it.
Yeah, also very applicable considering we're putting a CDN on our flagship website, right? Like backdropcms.org itself would be affected by this kind of problem. Yeah, I actually, that's something we probably need to look into. If there is any kind of caching that's getting mixed up here between authenticated and anonymous. Because right now I don't think we have special configuration in place. It might not just be noticed. So to be looked into.
Okay, I just wanted to sort of toss that out there to help attract some more attention to it.
Yeah. So yeah, this right now I'm like looking at this going, this isn't like a security issue in Backdrop itself, that it has to do with the configuration of your service, that's where this has always been fixed previously. But yeah, it would be really nice if this would work without special configuration. So thanks for calling that out. Yep, I don't have anything else for today. We might just call it there. Anybody else have any last minute things they want to bring up? No? Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining today. Thank you everybody out there for watching. We've got one more meeting next Thursday before the 132 release comes out on Monday, September 15th. So we'll see everybody next week. And yeah, until then.